People suck. I regularly see cars throw cigarettes out of their windows, and you see like sparks dancing across the street. And I'm like, do you know how often that causes fires? That just wipes out an area.
No,
in the state.
I used to live in Los Alamos, New Mexico, which is like up in the mountains. And right after we moved, some asshole was camping, and instead of like actually dealing with his coals and whatnot, he just dumped them and burned down the whole town that I lived in.
Oh.
Yeah, it was gone. My childhood home is, I think, has been rebuilt at this point, but it's not the home that it was. Yeah, and that is like a really weird feeling for me.
Whoa, I forgot there were harpies in this game.
Yeah,
everyone just sucks. Like, I'm always baffled when I'm driving around and just find that like
Oh, the cow loves me now that I saved it.
The frequency at which you see somebody throw cigarettes out the window, or that you see, what is it, like, people just constantly staring down while driving, and it's like, I'm on the freeway, this is fucked up.
Oh yeah,
we're all going to die.
I was driving to not college orientation, but like a college weekend at the college I was going to go to, and there was a lady doing about 45 in a 70 zone, putting on makeup in her...
the makeup
in her... Yeah, oof. That was... I mean, she was fine, because there was, like, nobody around, because it was, like, 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, so it was quiet and we were in the mountains. But, like, that's scary. I'm glad I don't live in Massachusetts anymore. The drivers here are still jerks, but they're less jerks.
Well, admittedly, they're not very jerky when you're another car.
Yeah. I've noticed that people at least kind of respect the fact that you don't try and fuck with other drivers around here.
I've only been honked at once or twice, whereas in Boston it was non-stop and people were very pushy.
Yeah, in Boston everybody's super aggressive. In New York, everybody is like... I think New York traffic is the worst I've ever experienced, personally.
New York or New York City?
New York City.
Yeah,
I mean, people don't even drive in New York because of the traffic.
Well, yeah, so once we were coming back from a convention, and we had to cross the
Washington Bridge.
Yeah, the like, big bridge.
It had 4 lanes, but so what happens is at the end of the bridge, you get your toll booths, because, you know, New York loves their toll booths, and they have, you can have Easy Pass. We were driving our friend's car, though, so she didn't have Easy Pass at the time, so that means we had to be in one of the 3 lanes that was dedicated to cash. However, everyone loved how fast the Easy Pass lane was
so
going.
they would drive down to the very end and then force their way in. So, like...
Actually, do you know what Easy Pass is, Keith?
I think there are toll passes in kind of everywhere.
We had to go past the toll bridge when I picked you up, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
But that was like the easy version.
Yeah, in the Northeast, there's this device that you can stick into the windshield of your car.
Oh, we should actually go to the southern section of the Harpy area.
I think that's just everywhere.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I don't see them out in the Midwest.
They're not as common. They're super common up in New York.
Are there tolls in the Midwest?
There are if you go north. Chicago area, there are a bunch of tollways.
I think I remember seeing them last in Ohio or Illinois, but then they stopped. But yeah, so we were in the lane that was between the Easy Pass lane and the beginning of, like, all of the cash lanes. So people were specifically driving.
There was some asshole with like a horse trailer or something like that.
Oh gosh, he kept going back and forth and like trying to squish us.
It was awkward.
I'm gonna get you, kids.
I am really looking forward to the day when self-driving cars are just the thing.
Yes.
I don't like driving. I have not driven in over a year now, and it feels so good.
Well, that's because I have the Rs.
Yeah.
People are so paranoid about self-driving cars, but I'm like, do you see how people drive already?
Yeah. Do you want to go drunk driving? Because with a self-driving car, you can.
Road. You can't drive anywhere without seeing several people who are not even paying attention to where they're driving.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you think that the magic auto cars that have were like, out of all the testing, there's been one bad accident so far? It's
and
like,
it was user
that's
error?
Worse.
It was actually user error. The person took over and then crashed.
I think the one concern is that someone will find
I believe
a way
someone
to
eventually
hack into
died.
Yeah, but like that's still better than any normal car.
It's also not the final version of self-driving cars because they're in. The point is to test them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too is I don't know. I swear there was a movie that I saw where all of the airplanes in the nation were controlled by a supercomputer, and then the computer decided to.
Skynet.
Yeah, did Skynet do that in the?
Yeah, I believe
Genesis
Skynet at the end of was it the third movie?
Yeah.
It crashed like every
She
plane
crashed
and
all
like
the
a bunch of other
planes.
stuff.
So it'd be bad if someone was able to hack into nearby cars and ruin their.
That's kind of
stuff.
inevitable though. Like no matter what, cars are going to end up with a ton of computers anyway. They could potentially mess up.
They already kind of do have them. In fact, there already are cars that can self-park, which means that there's already cars that have the ability to control themselves. They just only do it for parallel parking. So that threat's already out there for people if anything's going to happen with it. I've had too many like scary moments just in the act of commuting for doing videos with Andrew. Like I've witnessed several crashes happen in the area around me. Like not just like seeing somebody on the road, but like I saw the crash and I'm like, yeah, let's stop this. Everyone wants to be on their phones now, and if they want to be on their phones, they might as well get self-driving cars so that the car doesn't have to need them to crash it.
Speaking of, I guess the intersection to Whole Foods across from
one guy just went right through a red light.
Do you ever like run into people? Well, not run into people, but like find people that will try and race the light so they can go first. So they're like, it's going to turn green any moment now, so I'm just going to go.
Oh, you mean when people are like preemptively taking their foot off the brake and they're like, oh, I'm going to go immediately, and then like they miss gas and they're like, oh crap, and they brake again.
Well, so in this case,
our intersection is interesting in that it has people. So there's the people go across from one street to another, and then there's the main road, and I think one side of the main road has right-of-way first, and then the other side activates. But they must have misinterpreted it as the one cross lane goes at the same time and the other cross lane goes at the same time.
Yeah, so effectively the walk signal goes, he's still got a red, and he just floors it across the intersection.
And everyone else is standing stock still. And if we had started walking, that would have been bad
yeah,
for us.
I probably would have gotten run over if we had actually been not chatting and not fully paying attention. And it's just like, that's scary.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate drivers.
Hey, I drive. I drive you around everywhere.
And I hate you for every moment of it.
No. I'm the most cautious driver. Not in a bad way. I'm not the one that's like really slow and unable to shift lanes and whatnot, but if I am not forced to go through a yellow, I won't. I will slow down nicely and stop. And people might be irate and angry. You're supposed to speed through that yellow. And like, nope, I'm not gonna.
Not dying is a pretty good habit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people screw it up all the time.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend who got arrested in high school for drunk driving with 7 people in her car back from the beach.
Wait, that's not even possible unless
on
you have
her
something
learner's
massive.
permit. No, they had multiple people in the trunk.
In the trunk.
Yep.
Oh.
In the trunk or in like the truck bed?
It must have.
No, it was
It was probably a hatchback where people could sit up.
It was a hatchback. It was 2 smaller girls with just their knees up.
This just sounds like a kidnapping.
No, it was. They decided to go to the beach one day. Somebody had brought vodka, I think. I was supposed to be the 8th, but I didn't go because I was like, you don't even have a license. No. And then they got arrested on the way back, and I'm like, yep, validation.
With the worst people back
well,
in high
that
school.
was the last time we ever spoke because they were super pissed at me for not being there.
Without a license?
Yeah, I was the.
And with too many people in the vehicle.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot of layers of stupid.
It
And
was
a lot of people that
letters
had
of
to
stupid.
simultaneously be stupid together.
Yeah,
Like, every single one of those people had to individually be complicit in the stupid on their own.
because, I mean, they were fine. They didn't
As
crash,
they reached
right?
levels of exponential stupidity.
It was actually interesting. My uncle had one of those old station wagons where you would pull up seats that were tucked into the trunk, and you would be riding backwards. But you had seatbelts and everything.
I always liked those because it was kind of a neat view going backwards in a car.
It was weird.
Until I realized somebody rear ends us. I'm fucked.
I used to get picked up from school by like a daycare service that was run by another, the parent of another student at my age, and as kids, like it was always amusing because she would like swerve and stuff like that while we were in the back. We were in like the back of the car, in one of those like rear-facing seat areas. We'd like take off our seatbelts and she'd be like swerving all around, and we'd be like sort of like tumbling around in the car. And in hindsight, I'm like, wow, this is a really terrible, irresponsible way to run your whole like I'm taking care of other people's kids thing. Whoops. Things you don't question about what adults do until you're also an adult and you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This is an interesting thing, but when I was a child, I had an irrational fear of crumbs in the car seat.
I mean, that is a legit fear. They're the most disgusting thing to accidentally find when you put your hand down in a seat.
Oh, I know, but the funny thing is I don't see that anymore.
Like, do you ever like have to, if you ever get in somebody else's car and you have to like find the seatbelt in the back seat because like you're sitting in the middle or it's like disappeared, and you like you have to like reach around in there and it's just the worst thing.
That's always the weird paradox thing, is like other people's living spaces and belongings in cars always feel way more dirty than yours do, even though they're probably not actually in many cases dirtier than yours.
Oh, hey, but if there are a ton of visible crumbs.
People are often just kind of grow complicit with their own stuff and don't notice it anymore.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's hairballs. I probably leave too many hairballs everywhere.
At this point, I threaten her to vacuum. It doesn't work.
Hey, we haven't had the time to. You
At this point, I've just
up...
accepted that the carpet is extra fuzzy.
When we used...
How do I get to that Vista point?
The one in the kind of metal city? You have to go up here. And then you go around. Oh wait, no you don't.
Up the tower.
Yeah, it's up the tower. It's just over here. Unless it's a different Vista. I always think this is a different one.
What are you talking about right now?
Up this
I
tower.
guess you might also be in a completely different
you could be
location.
different.
No, I'm not even vaguely close to you right now.
Okay, where are you?
I was like, what sign am I supposed to be getting from what you're saying right now?
Oh,
Let's
you went
see.
all the way back there.
Oh yeah, I've been nowhere near you guys this entire session.
Fair enough.
I've literally just been running to the nearest heart and just doing stuff over and over again. And ended up in a completely different location.
When we hit Path of Fire, we should probably stick together, but this is definitely more efficient.
Well, I hear in Heart of Thorns...
No idea how to get... I don't even see a path. Get to this one.
Oh, you're that one? So, here, I'll mark it. I know exactly where it is. It starts over here. Oh. It's marked on the map for you. It should be the, like, blue star thing.
Blue star?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. It might be because we're in a squad now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we...
You want to go
see
from the
anything from
western
you.
side. Just keep heading west, and there will be kind of like a ridge that leads up there. It's actually super, super easy to get all the way up.
Oh, yeah, this is the ogre area.
Yeah.
Yeah, aside from the jumping thing, we were never really doing the same action at the same time at any point today, and I never really wanted to I never really wanted to cancel what I was doing midstream to switch to whatever you were doing. So I just kind of just kept going.
That's kind of understandable.
I suppose there's a
This
point
is
of
one of
interest
those
in
games
here.
where you don't actually have to, like, kind of keep track as long as we all finish the area.
Oh, is this the
Like-
one where you have to do the
co-op
specific
really
event?
just gets killed by the fact that that party stuff isn't shared.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really bizarre choice that I've never seen in an MMO before. Where, like, if you're in a party together and something happens, you don't get credit for it unless you did it. Which basically means you're not in a party. But then paradoxically, the hero challenges do... I mean, not the hero challenges, well, also those, but just all of the events do work that way.
Yeah.
Which is just all the more confusing.
Live well.
Has Shell ever gotten her car embedded? You've seen her on Parking Wars. Nope.
Wait, what about this?
Shell has never been in trouble with the law once.
Wait, what
All
about
things
cars
have a right
and...
to
Clow thinks he's seen you on Parking Wars, which is not true.
Parking Wars? What's
Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Honestly, you can just make up shows now and I'll believe you.
Yeah, reality TV has just gotten stupid.
It kind of always was. It definitely got extra fake now, though.
Yeah,
I
well,
haven't
that's
seen
because
a
like you
real-looking
kind
reality show in a long time.
That's because it's hard to come up with original material. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of the like original like Pawn Stars or whatever, some of those might have been legit, like the ones that the actual Pawn Stars are based on. But then actual Pawn Stars came out and was more popular because they editorialized it, and then it became fake as shit because they ran out of material to base it on.
I do not like ogres.
I
All
just
the
miss
people coming in are fake. They find people and like they essentially like scout people to come in with stuff to show on the show, and then they have like their fake experts that come in and like, yeah, I'm gonna explain the reason why this thing's valuable. And while the host is pretending to not know, but the real reason is they of course already know because they scouted that person to come on the show in the first place, so they already know everything about it, and they just call the other person in for dramatic effect / time wasting padding on the show. And then they have the backroom stuff where everyone's like talking to each other, like I'm the useless idiot, and I'm the old man, and I'm the
Live
kid
well.
that represents millennials, and we're gonna have the same conversation every episode, basically.
Straw
just
man
reinforced-
characters are really boring.
Yeah, there are 3 archetypes that just all they do is reinforce their character,
All things have a right to grow.
stereotype every single episode over and over again. We're like, I'm the idiot millennial, I'm the old guy, and I'm the guy that runs this place, and they just say the same things.
It almost just feels like the... What was the Duck family called?
Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're the ones that started that, but I'm sure it started before them.
Been around for a while.
I really don't like shows that just feature a family, like Duck Dynasty or the Duggars or the Kardashians or the Octomom or, like, come on. And actually, aren't the Kardashians only as famous as they are because of their father being a lawyer for O.J. Simpson?
Oh yeah,
Stuff?
yeah. No, the Kardashians were kind of a weird social media experiment at first, where they're like, how famous can we get with nothing? And the answer is very. And then it just became real.
I mean, the mom's famous for basically just being a genius at like knowing exactly how to take advantage of every single chance they had to become more famous.
Yeah.
And just
Oh, yeah.
really like nailed it every step of the way.
A lot of people are like that. Taylor Swift is like the most artificial music you can possibly go with, and worked really well. I mean, she has skill, but
At this point,
she was an invented creation, I guess. Let's see. I don't know. I never understand like how people can like work with that.
Oh,
I like
whoops.
run into YouTubers that are like trying to cash in on their fame, and I'm just like, how? What? You're just a dude that like plays video games. Like, there's some controversy recently over a female YouTuber making fun of McDonald's workers for not having real jobs, and I was just like, do you not understand that you have like the fakest job, and you should be really, really like thankful for that?
Just be happy it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when Restijo was talking shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I
oh,
didn't actually.
It's the guy who's constantly getting in fight with other YouTubers all the time.
Yeah. It was interesting seeing like just how much people were willing to like decry them for that, because like even Total Biscuit. Well, I mean, not even always Total Biscuit weighs in on that, but somebody pointed out that like Stijo was a big fan of him, and Total Biscuit's like, not anymore, he ain't. And I was like, wow.
Oh.
That is a good line, but also, oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drama's dumb.
It's such a
People are
weird
dumb.
case of punching down nonsense. Like,
Yeah.
just a weird. It's a weird choice to be if you're a YouTuber to be all like, McDonald's workers should get a real job if they want to actually make money. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Do you not understand?
You're not like it's already a shitty enough argument when you're like a lawyer or something, but when you're a YouTuber, don't like go after people that have shittier jobs. Like that's
well,
not,
especially because
that's
with
not okay.
YouTubers,
Well, yeah,
you wouldn't be able to have your job without the audience.
Our jobs are imaginary and made out of
You're inherently
toothpaste and
doing a job that not
napkins.
everyone can do because it requires a specific ratio between audience and the people making content to make there be an audience for the content. So it's literally a job not everyone can do. And it's not even necessarily being a YouTuber isn't like an automatic decry of your amazing quality as a person. It's oftentimes a weird thing you fell into.
Yep, and I know
Everything's
what working
weird.
retail is like, and fortunately the job that I had that was, you know, minimum wage retailing was actually sort of up my alley. It was at a fabric store, so
Yeah.
people genuinely, well, I suppose you were working at an upholstery shop, right? But it was your
I
father's?
worked at an upholstery shop and I worked at Best Buy, which, ugh. And then I
So-
worked in a cubicle and slowly lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Best Buy, I suppose you're surrounded by games, videos, and electronics, but
That you
don't.
can't do anything with.
Yeah, it's not
That's
nearly
true.
as cool as you think it
they're
would
just
be.
boxes.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. I
Boxes
was.
that people keep moving between days so that you look like an idiot because you don't know where they are and you work there. And I'm like, they moved him again. That happens to us too.
I suppose because I was such like a crafter cosplayer kind of person, especially because I'd be working at the cutting counter, people would always be asking for my advice on color combinations.
Yeah, I couldn't get bored on my
and,
lunch
like,
break and make video games.
I think the day I decided I truly was no longer interested in my game job was when I was on my lunch break and I was painting. Like, just a side thing, and one of my art directors came over and was like, "You shouldn't be working on that. Finish your lunch and get back to work." And I'm like,
So this is your
what
lunch?
what part of mandatory half-hour work lunch break do you not understand, Mr. Art Director, that has been playing Monster Hunter for the past 2 hours?
When we were slammed at Best Buy, the management would clearly get frustrated with us for being on our breaks and on both for lunch and our 15-minute breaks, and it's like because it was like removing people from the floor, and it's like that's how like this job works, right? Like I
Yeah.
get written up if I don't go on these breaks.
Oh yeah.
What do you expect from me? But they'd still
Were
act
you-
like it's unreasonable.
Were you working at Best Buy when they got caught for fraud for signing people up for the customer rewards plans, credit cards, or whatever?
Wait, what?
Or no, it was like the warranties. Like, you know how Best Buy will be like, do you
you
want
can
like
add,
a
like, a $10
two-year warranty or whatever? Apparently it was like a thing where a bunch of Best Buy cashiers to like boost their performance were just forcibly signing people up
Oh
for.
yeah, we were always supposed to give numbers at the end of the day of were
They
you
were
able
just
to
like
sell
secretly
extra
signing
items?
people up without telling them.
Yeah,
And
and apparently it was
charging
like
them more.
apparently it was actually like a national thing.
Wow.
Yep.
No, I never heard about that. I was working at Best Buy when Circuit City went under, so they were in the middle of
Ah.
panicking about that.
Ooh, yeah.
It was really frustrating because they kept reshuffling how our entire job was supposed to work, like very, very frequently. Because it wasn't like, this isn't getting results, change it again. So like they were actually like micromanaging how we were supposed to sell to customers. At one point they had the most irritating thing ever, which was this idea of like the 180 pass by, which is the idea that you're supposed to walk past the customer, sort of enter their like personal bubble a little bit, then turn around, and you're supposed to have observed something about what they're wearing, like their shoes or their shirt or whatever the hell, and then you start the conversation based on that. And then you
What?
try to work your way over towards products. I'm like, this is like, first of all, way too artificial, way too many steps, and like way too
Super
irritating.
intrusive. Yeah.
Like,
Oh
this
yeah.
is a good example of literally all the reasons why people don't like going to Best Buy is because of how
I don't like
irritating
going
the
to Best
employees
Buy
are.
because I don't want
And-
somebody to talk to me.
And
I'm
like going to Best Buy doesn't turn you into an asshole. Like it's like they literally like they train you and tell you to behave like that, and you get like written up. So I would mostly just stealth around it, and I literally never changed my strategy the entire time I worked there, and I was always just like, hey, you need help? You need help finding anything or anything? And just say garbage like that all the time, because I'm not. I would not use any of the stuff they were telling me to do.
I just rather they have like a kiosk for every section being like, this is the guy that knows things about this area, ask him if you need help.
They do have it for the laptop area, I've noticed.
Yeah, and like, that for me, it's perfect, because I needed to find like a wireless USB card, and I found a guy, and I'm like, hey, do you have this? And he's like, nope. And I was like, that's odd, okay. And then somebody else comes running across the store, and he's like, I know where that is. And I'm like, oh, how? What?
I also worked there for 1.5 years in the portable electronics division, and the entire time I was there, nobody ever trained me on how to deal with the entire part of the store that's about, like, car radios.
Huh.
Which was part of my department, and no one trained me in it for the entire 1.5 years I worked there. So I just
young,
was
you're
like,
supposed to know about that
I can help
shit.
you there.
You are supposed to know
about cars or radios. Yeah. I don't even know who buys them, but apparently people buy new car radios to install in their car.
I had a lot of friends in college that were like super down with modifying the cars, and I'm like, why? Your thing's a piece of shit. And they're like,
add 1 billion subwoofers. That's almost as good as having real music.
So I had a friend who
hated high school cars.
I had a friend who bought it was like a Subaru. I think it was a Subaru, like Outback or something. You know, like this nice kind of station wagony type car. Nothing too fancy, but it was used. It was old. But you know, it probably still had like a good 5-10 years on it if he kept it up. And then he put in a couple $1,000s worth of radios, custom seats, so on and so forth. And then his radiator blew and totaled the car because the car was worth less than the repair. And the insurance wouldn't pay out for repairing more than that. But since all of his stuff was custom done for his specific model, he had to go out of his way to find a new version of his old car, because otherwise his like custom fitted radio and seats and whatnot were totally useless because they weren't up to spec for any other vehicle. And he was like furious.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Like, you could have just like held off, done all this with the new car, and then not, you know, had this happen.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But instead, ruin yourself.
Ooh, I have a group event. Subdue and capture Yananka the Rat Wrangler.
Where?
Down here.
Oh, all the way down there.
I just talked to a rat about it. And I have 5
Wrangler
minutes.
of rats.
I'm gonna come. Let's see.
Wait, where is this supposed to be?
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of quests you have to do just in the little town we teleported into.
Oh yeah, Ebonhawk has, I believe, 1/3 of the hearts for the entire zone.
You're like running around in sewers, or you're tearing down propaganda and stuff.
I always feel bad when I'm running with the murder horde. If I have to teleport anywhere, I'm just like, well, bye! And I just run off as fast as possible. Where are you going, Shell?
Yananka is supposedly on the map. It's pointing this way.
Oh. I thought I was coming down. Yeah, this heart that you were at is like the worst heart to do in the entire map.
It is the worst heart to do, but I'm trying to group event. Well, Yananka is already dying. I do not know where he is. This map
I guess Yananka's gonna die then. R.I.P.
Yep. Yananka is gonna be Yaganka.
Because I don't even know where he is. Like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to get to him in time. I don't even know where he is. Why would they do a quest like that where you start it halfway across the map? Because it was a suspicious rat. The suspicious rat gave me the quest, but it was halfway across the map.
Well, sorry, Murder Horde, for running away for a
Sorry.
red herring.
I'll do the mine, help the foreman boss.
Yeah, we'll do the mine.
Now I'm just thinking about how much I hated working at Best Buy.
Happens.
They want you to sign people up for credit cards, so like, there was I would almost never ask because it's like it's an insane idea. Like, hey, you want to have a credit card based around just going to Best Buy, like some sort of lunatic? One time somebody said yes. It was right at the end of my shift, and not even just the end of the shift, but the end of like the store being open.
Oh.
So like, I got stuck with this super long application process where everything was going wrong and nothing was working, and it was just incredibly tedious and time consuming. And meanwhile, the store is closing, so like all my other coworkers like cleaning up, and like I'm like getting glares for not helping with the fact that the store is closing up, but I have to deal with this customer. And I ended up being there for like well over an hour after the store closed, just dealing with this thing. So then people had to pay me overtime, and it's like, fucking nothing's working. This whole system doesn't work. Why do we even do this? And at the end, he got like declined anyway, I think, so he couldn't even get the credit card. And I'm like, I hate this place. I hate this place, and I don't want to be here anymore. They had an insane program where they wanted to get into the whole best GameStop's like used market, so they started offering the option to like set it up so like you could sell electronics back to them.
Oh yeah.
And but they did the dumbest way ever, because like, at GameStop you could just take games to Best Buy. I mean, at GameStop you can just take games back to GameStop, or games you didn't even buy there. It doesn't matter, and you just sell it to them. Obviously, it's garbage in that the prices are always like so gougy and awful that you should never really actually sell games to GameStop.
Why? Because they're gonna buy it off you for $5 and then resell it for 15.
Yeah, like they completely take away your money, and like it's just like it's never worth it. If you sell a game that just came out, like you for some reason bought a game for full price and then immediately are selling it, then you get like half your money back. But for all other things ever, it's like, hey, you want to sell this stack of like 12 games for $10? Like that's a real thing people do. They come in with like a box of games and sell them all off, and they get like a few dollars for it. But hey, at least you can just sell a game like just like that. At Best Buy, their solution was that you had to pre-purchase the ability to sell stuff back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Try to even think about what that means. Like, you know how you buy like the warranty and stuff like that? It was like a similar price, but for a separate thing that wasn't the warranty, which was the buyback program. So you had to pay for the ability to enter into the buyback program, and it wasn't like a membership at the Best Buy in general. It was literally like a fee attached to that singular purchase. So you were buying products predeterminedly. You were buying products with the automatic assumption in advance, the moment you're buying it, that you're going to then turn around and sell it back to Best Buy later. And there was this big complicated spreadsheet about what percentage of its actual price it would be worth when you brought it back, if you brought it back like next year or the year after and stuff like that. And it's like, it was bizarre, and it was for phones, and it was for games, and it was for consoles, and it was for electronic devices, and like it was incomprehensible to try to even explain to a customer the idea that they had to pay now for the option to later be able
By
to,
the way,
sell it back.
We are looking for Trillia Midwell. She should be walking around the city. So if anybody spots her, she might even be marked on the map, actually.
Who is she?
She's the guild bounty for the week.
A bounty?
Yeah, we got a bounty to go kill her.
Take someone out?
Yep.
There's guild bounties?
Yeah, so you know how we did the guild puzzle? Well, there's bounties, treks, races, bunch of different things, and
this is the desert gate. I wonder if this is what we have to go through to go to Alona.
She has been found.
Hey, don't kill her yet. Ah.
Okay, so Tommy is already found here. Where's Tommy? Oh, Tommy Khan. Okay, so she's actually really close.
Isn't this where Gwen and Karen
are buried? Yep.
They're from the other game.
Guild Wars 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were specifically from Eye of the North, aren't they? Don't kill her yet.
Yep. So Keith, if you want to head over this direction, we've got a cool thing. We're just to the west a little bit. You should have a
town.
Yeah, you should have a waypoint directly north.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll be coming.
There's a waypoint.
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of these. We might take a bit of a detour to kill the other two, because it looks like they're pretty close by, like places that we can get to.
An escaped cow, an escaped pig.
All right, so we're just missing you, Shell.
I'm coming. I'm actually right behind.
AoE
Awesome.
lightning, knockback, and tornado heals. Oh, tornado and heals are separate.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
dot was
I'm
invisible
here.
inside the
Yeah.
sword icon, so I'm like, what's a tornado heal?
Oh, that's who I saw
Yep.
Do-gooders like you
on the
don't
map.
know
That
what's
was okay.
I'll beat the crap out of her. She's the bounty. Ow. She hurts.
good. Die, Charles Sympathizer.
No one told me they'd fight back.
I was like, I can fight her in melee. We've got enough people for this. I almost immediately lose like 90% of my health, and I'm like, well, not doing that.
I'm sure you didn't need though. You'll be fine. He's like not even moving right now.
Nope.
Probably too many status effects keeping her.
Is that supposed to be with tornado?
When she's spinning, yeah.
No, I mean, are those pillars supposed to be tornadoes? Because they just look like
Oh,
weird
yeah,
crystal
yeah.
things.
Those are goofy looking.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
dazed.
that is not an effective facsimile of a tornado.